Hello, happy Wednesday. I'm coming live from our vehicle on vacation, but I didn't want to skip this week of going live. And although I'm doing something a little bit different, I still wanted to hop in and say hello and still do a live because there's something that I don't really share very often. And it's kind of like my testimony and my journey into like the network marketing business. And I did try to get Nathan to come on here, and he's busy killing bees right now. So some of you are going to have a problem with that, but they are like infesting the house that we're living in right now. We're at his grandparents' house in Michigan, and there's just a big bee problem. So they're crawling into the vents or into the wall or something. And so he's been like trying to kill them for, I don't know, the last couple of days. So he's like, oh, I can't, I have to take care of the bees. So he's not going to hop on here with me, but I figured that I would just come on and share my story anyway. So for those of you who are new, who haven't been on our book studies, I'm Taylor. I do a weekly book study. We've gone through one book so far, and we're in our second one right now. And since we're traveling, I didn't bring my book with me. I didn't have my notes. So this is going to be just like a freebie, just a little bit about my testimony and a little bit about what I do and how I got to this point that I am. So, a couple years ago, I was pregnant with my third son, my third kid. He's a boy, and I have two girls that are older. And I was extremely sick throughout my entire pregnancy. I've never experienced anything like that before. I have chronic asthma, and, it just happened to be that year when I was pregnant with him, it flared up like immensely. We couldn't get under control. I was seeing my doctor instead of once a year. I was seeing him every like 2 months, every month, sometimes multiple times a month to try and get under control. And it just wasn't helping. At the same time, during my pregnancy, I started struggling with frequent yeast infections. And I was seeing a midwife for my pregnancy, and she's like, that's super normal. If you've never had a history of it before, you have hormonal imbalance, and that kind of causes the yeast infection. So once the baby's born, they will go away. So for 6 to 9 months of my pregnancy, I struggled with that. I struggled with asthma. My allergies were out of control. And then about a month before my son was supposed to be born, I got influenza A. And so add that on top of all my other conditions, I was miserable. So he ended up coming 3.5 weeks early, and I was in the hospital while having the flu. And there was just a lot of complications. I had a C-section. He was put in the special care nursery because his glucose levels were too low, and it was just a whole thing. So fast forward a year after he was born, I had no yeast infections up until that point. A year in, they came back, and I was miserable. And I'm like, there has to be another way to get rid of these. And so I did lots and lots of research, and people are like, oh, cranberry juice, or you have to try whatever it is, all these little remedies, or there's no way to stop them. Well, I found like 3 articles in a row, and they all mentioned a probiotic. And so I was talking to my husband. I'm like, Nathan, I'm so miserable. I need to find a probiotic. And at the time, I had friends that were using natural supplements, and they were like, hey, have you ever thought about trying this? I was like, actually, I need a really good probiotic, so I'm open to trying it out. And Nathan is so skeptical. He is way more skeptical about everything in life than I am. And I was like, they say it will work. They say it's so good. The ingredients are the best. And he's like, you can try it. He's like, but that's kind of a lot of money for a probiotic when you can go to like CVS and pick one up for like half the price. So at the same time, I was struggling with like low energy. I was struggling with fatigue. I was struggling with not sleeping well. And there was just a whole list of issues, and I was so miserable. And so they were like, oh, well, we also have this natural energy drink, and it's completely plant-based and no sugar crashes. And sorry, I thought I just heard a bee. It really freaked me out because he's making them so mad. So I was like, okay, well, I definitely want the natural energy drink because I was living off of cold brew and coffee like all the time, like 2 to 3 cups a day, sometimes more. And that would like kick in for an hour, and then I'd be like back on the couch. And so I knew I wasn't showing up for my kids the way I should be. And I had 3 young kids at home. I was homeschooling, and so like not being there for my kids was weighing on me. And I'm like, I can't keep doing this. I'm like, I don't know, like we don't have the opportunity to hire babysitters or nannies or people to come in and really take care of our kids. Like, this is my job. I should be able to do my job, and I just can't. I'm just so tired. I'm so exhausted. I would black out when I stood up. So changing diapers and getting meals was like a big chore. Like, it was a lot. It was asking a lot of me. So I committed to doing a month with these products, and they had told me, okay, you know, there's 60-day money back guarantee. So if you don't see any results in 60 days, you can turn it back in, you can get your money back, and it's not going to be, you want to come in? Nathan came by. He's watching me. Now he just shook his head. He's going to go attack the bees again. So I was like, all right, I'm on board. Like, you tell me it works, that's great. But for me, it was kind of like a means to an end, because I was more looking for something that, like, I was kind of getting lonely. Like, being home with kids, if you're a stay-at-home parent, you know that feeling of like, you have no socializing. And so, like, I'd go to church once a week, but or twice a week. Other than that, like, my life is home, and I have, like, we moved states. And so I was like, I want something I can do. I left this, you know, daycare director position. I had built it from the ground up. I felt like I was making a difference. And then I went back to being a stay-at-home mom, and I was like, I missed that, like, business side of it. I missed that, like, making decisions and having, like, a purpose, something that's bigger than I am. And so I was like, you know, I have heard stories about network marketing, and I was kind of turned off by it, but I was like, you know what, this might be something that I at least could try. And if these products work and I believe in them, there's a big income opportunity that comes along with it. So I decided to try the products for a month, and less than 2 weeks in, my energy was like incredibly different, and I was sleeping way better. I wasn't struggling with fatigue as much. I wasn't living off of cold brew and coffee. And I just felt totally different. And so the next month I'm like, Nathan, I feel so much better. He's like, okay, well, you can keep doing it. And I was like, I want to keep doing it, but I want you to do it too, because he does not take care of himself. He drinks coffee all day long, barely drinks water, doesn't work out. Like, he's at a sedentary desk every day. And so I was like, you need these products too, because if they're working for me, they'll work for you. And he was struggling with headaches all the time. And so I'm like, if I'm going to sign up for this business and I'm going to go all in, I was like, then I want you to sign up and start taking the products too. So he's like, well, I'll sign up and be your first customer. But he's like, I probably won't do it long term. So we signed him up that first month. So I had one sign up. I had a couple friends that saw me post something on social media. They're like, wow, like, does this really work? Do you really get good energy? And I was like, yeah, honestly, I do. Like, I wouldn't share that I have amazing energy if it wasn't true, because I'm not that type of person. Like, that's why I wanted to try it out for myself first. And my yeast infections were gone. My energy was up. I was sleeping better. My fatigue was gone. Like, there were so many different things that I didn't realize were all connected, and they were. So Nathan started the products, and he was like hit or miss with them. He wasn't consistent with it. But about 2 months in, his headaches started going away completely. And he's like, wow, I feel a lot better. I'm sleeping a lot better. So for the last year, I have been with a company working in network marketing, and when I signed up, I did not know that this last year was going to be the absolute hardest year in network marketing that people have seen in the last 10 years. And that's okay, because in the meantime, while things are slow and not going great, I have really learned to learn myself and invest in personal development. And that has been so huge for me. Like, I didn't understand mindset, and the way that you think through things and the way that you attach meanings to things can really affect like your outcome and how you look at things in different points of view. And so I've started really digging in, which is kind of why the book study started, is because I was digging into these personal development books, and I was joining these book studies, and I was like, I cannot believe I have waited 30 years of my life basically to get into personal development. And it has been an absolute game changer. I found a huge community of women that I talk to every single day who support and encourage me, and that socialization factor, it like completely filled me up. Like, I was so thankful every single day to have these women that have walked through the same places that I'm going through, and they're like, it is hard, but if you have the belief, if you have the drive, if you have the knowledge and the will to keep pursuing, then you will see success in this. And so even though I'm not as successful as I wish I would be, I know that there is a means to an end. And I know that the more you continue on, the harder things get, more people drop out, and the field opens up. There's not a scarcity mindset. There's not just oh, there's so many people doing this right now. I mean, look at the world of influencers and affiliate marketing. Like, they're still making decent money, good money, great money that a lot of us would dream of. And there's not a scarcity. I mean, there's people, our company goes to New Zealand and Australia, Mexico, Canada, all the United States. Like, there's such a huge field out there, and the world of supplements is just becoming bigger and bigger. So I am 100% committed to this. I have grown so much personally, and even Nathan too. Like, our mindsets have shifted and we've learned a lot. Our health is in the best place that we've been our entire lives. I'm not struggling with all the issues I've struggled with before. And so I'm really thankful for this opportunity and for this company and for all the things that I've learned along the way. And I'm really excited. I don't know where God's going to take this. I don't know what He has in store for me. And I don't know if this is a long-term thing, but I do know that He always does things for our good and His glory. And so He's going to continue using me as long as I'm willing to be used by Him. And He's going to just take me on this journey. And when He's ready for me to have a team of people join me and be successful and believe in this business like I do and believe in the products like I do, then He's going to bring them to me. And it's all in His time, and I'm willing to wait because I'm feeling good and I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm continuing to grow. And I think that's so important that we always prioritize that. Like, we prioritize ourselves, we prioritize growing, and we really put that in the forefront of our minds, because the more we get uncomfortable with where we are in life, the more God uses that to draw us closer to Him and to acknowledge that